Okay, so good evening everyone. Myself Yogendra Jalal, and I will be your trainer for this domain, which is SOC, right? Which stands for your Security Operations Center. So let me start my introduction. Okay, so over here I'm having a total 5+ years of experience in this domain and talking about my background. So I have started from the very basics, like when I started it, it was just an interest for me, like in my college days. I just want to learn about the network part, right? So over there in my college days, I came to know about your cyber security. Like what is your cyber security? And then I checked lots of courses around the cyber security, right? Like what is a career path of this cybersecurity over here. So after this, I learned the cybersecurity. Then eventually I learned many things into the offensive side of cybersecurity as well as into the defensive side of cybersecurity. But still learning, right? Because this is the field we cannot stop learning. Talking about my certifications. So, as I was saying that I have started from the very basics. So I started from your CompTIA Plus, then I went to your Network Plus, CCNA, Linux Plus, Security Plus, CH, Pen Testing, your Pentest Plus, your CND, your CHFI, your CSA, MCSA, and AZ900, right? So these are the certifications which I have done. Now, talking about the agenda over here. So, what we are going to do over here. So, over here, we will be learning about SOC, like what is SOC. Then we will be going for need of SOC in the organization. Then we will be going for roles and functions of SOC, your SOC teams, members and their responsibilities. And then we will be covering the tools and techniques which are used in SOC. Okay. So, guys, what is happening nowadays? Like in today's interconnected world, right? The organizations they are facing an ever increasing number of cyber threats, right? Which can compromise their sensitive data, right? It can disrupt their operation, and along with that, it can also damage their reputations, right? So, the cyber attacks, right? They can never be fully prevented, right? So over here we are not having a 100% security. Getting the cyber attacks they can never be fully prevented. So the organization they should advance their detection capabilities so they can respond appropriately, right? Like with the advancement of technology, the cyber attacks they have also evolved. Like we are not having any day, right, which is going without any news about your cyber crimes that leaks huge amount of sensitive data, right? Or your any new kind of malware or virus that disrupts the normal operation of an organization, right? So this is where a security operations center comes in, right, to play a crucial role as a platform for monitoring and detection of suspicious activities. So, in a simple way, you can say for the SOC, like a SOC is a centralized unit where you will be getting logs from multiple locations, like from your website, from your database, from your data center, your network application, and any other things, right? And on those logs, what you will be doing, you will be looking for suspicious activities, right? Like over there, you will be analyzing, is there anything bad going or not, right? So SOC is what? SOC is a security as a service, which will be dealing with the intrusion detection and security event management, right? So the primary goal of your SOC is, right? The primary goal of a SOC are your proactive threat monitoring, your incident detection, your response mitigation, right? And maintaining the overall security posture of the organization, right? So what is your security management? It is a set of your security activities, right? So your multiple security activities which are performed at an organization level, right, to make sure your whole security posture is very adequate, right? So over here what we are having our SOC. Now SOC is what? SOC is one of the component of your security management over here, right? So inside this security management what we are having? We are having your security infrastructure, right? Over here, we are having your security infrastructure. Okay, so over here, what we will be doing, like in the security infrastructure. First, what we'll be doing, we will be looking into the like what are the part of our security infrastructure, right? So over here, inside this security infrastructure, we are having your perimeter security, right? We are having your perimeter security. Now, your perimeter security means like we are making sure that all the parameters are secure like your IDS, IPS, right? That will be falling under the perimeter security. Then after this, we are having your network security. So in the network security, we will be making sure that all the network devices are secure, right? Which we are having inside our organization, like your routers, firewalls, and any other device, right? After this, we are also having your application security. So over here, we will be making sure that like whatever application which are being used, right? They should be secured. Your host security, right? So host security like in terms of different devices which are being used inside the organization. Okay. So when we are talking about your host means a device, right? Any device which is connected to your network, right? And it is having a IP address that is known as your host. It can be your computer, your server, your router, printer, or any other network device which can send or receive the data over a network that is known as your host, right? Your data security. So data security in terms like all the bits and bumps in terms of data that are in place that should also be secure, right? So basically your security infrastructure, it is what? It is a combination of your technologies, your process, and it will be measuring the places to protect inside the organization, right? Your digital asset. And over there, it will be ensuring the CIA, the confidentiality, integrity, and availability about an information. Getting? That is what your security infrastructure is. Okay. So inside the security infrastructure, what we are having your perimeter security, network security, application, your host, and data. So starting from the perimeter security. So this perimeter security, it will be involving like securing the boundary of network to prevent from the unauthorized access, right? Which will be including our firewalls, our IDS, right? Our intrusion detection systems, our intrusion prevention systems, our IPS, right? And our VPNs, right? So to monitor and control the incoming and outgoing network traffic. That is what your perimeter security is, right? After this, we are having your network security, right? So over here, our network security totally focusing on protecting the network devices we are having, right? And also from the network based threats, right? That is what your network security is. Then we are having your application security. So this application security, it will be addressing the vulnerabilities and the threats which are specific to a particular software or a application, like your secure coding practice, your application firewalls, your web application scanners, right? So that will be falling under the application security. After this, we are having your host security, right? So it will be including like your securing individual devices, your laptops, your computers, your servers, your workstations, mobiles, right? From what? From unauthorized access and the malwares, right? So it includes like using the antivirus softwares, your host-based firewalls, right? Your system patches and updates, and using a strong authentication mechanism. That is what your host security is. Then after this, we are having your data security. So your data security is totally focusing on protecting the sensitive data, right? From unauthorized disclosure, modification, destruction, right? So over here, what we can do for securing this data, what we can do, we can apply your encryption techniques, we can use your access control, we can use your data loss prevention solutions, or we can have your backup, right? So these are the things which will be falling under the data security. So after the data security, what we are having next component, right? We were having the first one, which was your security infrastructure. Then we are having the second one, which is your security prevention. So guys, when we are talking about your security prevention, the first thing that should comes into your mind is it should be your VA, your vulnerability assessment. Okay. So when we are talking about your vulnerability assessment, so it will be involving the systematic identification, your evaluation, and the prioritization of vulnerabilities which we are having in our system or a network, right? So your vulnerability assessment is what? It is a proactive approach to uncover the weakness which can be exploited by the attackers, right? That is your vulnerability assessment is. Then after the vulnerability assessment, we are also having your like Your pen testing, it is also known as your penetration testing or your ethical hacking, right? Over here, what you will be doing, right? You will be performing a simulated attack on a organization system or the infrastructure to identify the security weakness, right? And the potential entry points for the attackers, for the hackers, right? Unlike the vulnerability assessment, what you will be doing over here, you will be actively attempting to exploit the vulnerabilities to assess the effectiveness of existing security controls, right? To identify the potential areas of improvement. That is what your penetration testing is, right? So we are using your vulnerability assessment and your penetration testing over here in order to check how exactly our whole security posture looks like, right? So over here we are using your security infrastructure, right? In terms of your data security, your network security, your application or your parameter, right? Along with that, we are also using your vulnerability assessment, your penetration testing. But why are we all doing all these things, right? Because we are having because we are having something known as your compliance, right? What we have to do, we have to maintain the compliance, right? And because of your compliance, right? Because, right? Because of this compliance over here, right? We are performing all these things over here in the organization. Getting? So the next component we are having is your compliance and validation. Okay. So what happens in terms of your compliance is like we have to follow a security baseline, right? We have to follow security baselines over here. Okay. We have to follow the security baseline. We have to follow the policies. We have to follow the audit. Along with that, we have to also follow the standards, right? So if we are talking in terms of your SOC, so over here, our SOC, it should be ISO 27001 certified, right? Your ISO 27001 certified, right? Which makes sure that our SOC is following the best practices. Any idea, guys, about this ISO 27001 certificate? Great. So when we are talking about this ISO 27001, right, we are having this standard, right, which will be setting some requirements for establishing, implementing, maintaining, and continually improving your ISMS, your information security management system within an organization, right? So basically, it is what it will be providing a approach, a systematic and structured approach for managing the information security risk and protecting the sensitive data. That is what your ISO 27001 is, right? After doing all these things like securing your infrastructure, doing regular VAPT, and following the compliance and the standards, right? But we have done almost everything, right? So the last and the important bit that is crucial and Needed is what? It is your security operation. Like whatever you are claiming, like we are using this for the security, right? We are using these things for the security, right? And we are going to make sure that as a part of a security operation in terms of monitoring, right? So over here, like we are having some people who are claiming that we are using these things, right, for the security. So over here in the security operation, what we will be doing? We are gonna make sure as a part of your security operation in terms of your monitoring, right? Like what we will be doing over here, we will be performing a constant monitoring, right? Along with the monitoring, what we will be doing, we will be doing your detection and your remediation. Sorry, your responding, right? So these are the things which we will be doing over here, right? We will be doing a constant monitoring, your constant detection, and your responding. So let's say, let's have an example over here. Let's say like what we have done your vulnerability assessment, right? We have done a vulnerability assessment, and during that vulnerability assessment, at that time, we get to know or we figured out that we are using a outdated software, or that particular software is having a outdated software version, right? So over here, our vulnerability assessment, it is going to give us a vulnerability over there that we are using a outdated component, or a outdated component is being used. So after that, what the security team will be doing? They are going to fix it, right? And later on, they will be coming and they will be saying that now we are using the latest version and the most secured one. So in order to verify like that what these peoples are saying, it's actually true, right? Is actually has been done, right? And whatever which has been implemented, it is working absolutely fine. So in order to do what we will be doing a constant monitoring, right? And that is what the job of SOC, your Security Operations Center, right? So over here, you have to make sure that you do a constant and throughout monitoring, detection, and responding, right? So in order to make sure that there is nothing malicious coming into your infrastructure, which will be disrupting the security management as a whole, right? So as a part of your security operations, we do your monitoring, detection, and responding, right? And all these are being used with the SIM solution. So when we are talking about your SIM, right, as you were saying that SIM, it stands for your security information and the event management, right, or your security incident and the event management, right? So we will be discussing throughout about this later on, but for the overview, right? So when we are talking about this SIM over here, right, your security incident and event management, right? Depending upon this SIM, we are performing our monitoring, detection, and responding. Like previously, what we were having a separate division in our company, which we call as a NOC. So previously we were having a separate division and the companies which we call as a NOC, your Network Operation Center, right? So the core job for the NOC people was to make sure that all the communication in or out on the network goes properly, right? But as your security evolved, like in last 5 to 7 years, right? The NOC it got replaced by the SOC, your Security Operations Center, right? And your SOC do what? It act as a centralized unit. So basically, people who are in the SOC, they do all the network monitoring, like all the ongoing activity in a particular organization. Okay. See, in our official laptops, right? In our official laptops, whatever thing we are doing, right? In our official laptops, that thing is going to get recorded. Getting? If I'm opening a particular web page, if I'm typing anything, those things are going to get recorded. So all these recorded options, right? They are being accumulated in a one single place, right? It means that our devices, they are generating the logs and those logs are going to a single place, right? So over here, what we are having? We are having your data sources or your data types, right? In our organization and the SOC, we are having your data sources or your data types, right? Like we are having your firewall, we are having your database, your website, your emails, your routers, switches, right? Your IDS, IPS, your file servers, and your virtual machines, VMs. Okay. So over here, what we are having all these different things in our organization, right? So typically being a SOC person, right? Typically being a SOC person, what we all call them, we call all these things as your data sources or your different data types, right? So these are the places, right? These are the places like some of the different places which are going to give us data, right? So data means like they are not going to tell us like what we are having in our database or inside our website or what we are having inside a file server or a content of an email, right? What they will be giving us, they will be giving us logs, right? Logs in terms of like what are the actions that are happening in our systems, right? So over here, what we do, we pick all these different data types, right? We will be picking all these data types. And now the very first thing we have to do is like we have to start collecting them, right? We have to start collecting them. So what we are having over here, we are having your data types. Now, since we are having our data types, what we will be doing, we will be collecting them, right? Collecting or your collection as a service. So over here, from this point, we will start collecting all the information, right? Your logs, right? And once we have collected all these logs, right? Like we are getting all these logs from different log sources, right? So Over here, what will be happening? These different log sources, they will be giving us, you can say, different types of logs, like different pattern, right? We will be having different pattern over here. So that is why after the collection, what we are having your normalization, right? We are having your normalization over here. So over here in this particular process, what we will be doing? We will be normalizing all the logs in single sort of formatting, in single kind of formatting, right? Which will be making it bit easy for us to understand. So it will be helping us to understand them, like how a particular logs looks like. Okay, so over here, after performing the normalization, what we are having? We are having your indexing, right? We are having your indexing. So indexing is what? Like giving a key value, right? Giving a key value pair. Okay. So over there, if we will be writing like your www, right? If we are writing your www, then it should be bringing up all the web server page logs, right? That is what happens after performing the indexing. Like we are having our books, right? We are having our books, and in the front page over there we are getting a index, right? What it will be doing, that index? It will be pointing that this entry is on this page or on this particular page number, right? We all are having an index, right, in our books. Like if I will be asking you to search for a topic like SOC, right? I'm asking you to search for a topic SOC, and I'm giving you a book which is having around 5,000 pages, right? I will be giving you a book which is having more than 5,000 pages over there, right? A very thick one. So over here, you are getting two options, right? You are having two options. The first one, you will be going through page after page, right? For finding out this topic and that particular book, right? Then you are having the second option over here. Okay, then you are having the second option over here. What you can do, you can just go through the index and you can look for a topic name SOC. So what do you say? Which one will be far easier? The first one where you have to go through page by page, or the second one where you can just simply go to the index and look for this topic? Great. The second one, going through the index. That is what your indexing is. This is what we are having your indexing in our sim solutions. Okay. Then what we are having your database. So guys, once we have done the indexing part, right? Once we have done the indexing part, what we will be doing? Like we have to maintain a database. Getting? We have to maintain a database. Like it is not like that I will be coming and I will be reading the logs and then after that I will be deleting them. No. What we will be doing over there, like after doing the indexing, right? All the logs, they are going to get stored in a particular place, in a single place, right? And once we have done, right, once we have maintained the database, we are having the next one, which is your correlation, right? We are having your correlations. Like if we see an attack, right? If we see an attack, like the attack has been done on your web server, how exactly your SIM solutions are going to help you out with it. Getting like comparing the logs from your web server to the logs of your firewall to the logs of your database to the logs from your router to the logs from your switches, right? To make sure that this particular attack happened from exactly where it happened, right? After this, like let's say that particular attack, right? Let's say this particular attack, it has been originated from internally. Okay, this particular attack, it has been originated from internal network. So over there, what you say? Are we going to get any logs in the external firewall? So we won't be getting any logs in our external firewall because this particular traffic, it has never came from the external network, right? It was originated from internal network. But now let's say that we are having an attack which is initiated from the outside, from the external network. So over there, what you will be doing, like you will be seeing series of logs which has been generated from our external firewall to our routers, to our switches, to our web servers, database, right? So basically, we will be getting series of logs, right? So after this, we will know like what, how, and where exactly have been compromised. Getting? Because after this, we have to respond on these particular incidents. When we are talking about your event and incident, okay, so let's talk about the event first. So event means like whatever thing we are doing in our computer, that is what known as your event, right? Over here I'm mute and I'm able to unmute myself. This is known as your event. Whatever things we are doing in our computer, it is known as your event. But when we are talking about your incident, incident means any event or actions that goes wrong. That is known as your incident. Let's say over here, I was trying to mute myself, but over here, I'm not able to mute it. That will be called as incident, right? I was trying to open my laptop, but over here, I'm seeing a blue screen of death. It is also known as your incident, right? So it means that any event or actions that goes wrong, it is known as your incident. So, right? For the same, this is all the things we are having. Like after this, what we will be doing, we will be just sending a output. Like after this, we will be just creating a alert, report, or archiving, right? So after this, we will be just creating a dashboard, right? After doing all these steps, right? After doing all these steps, like which we call as your data ingestion process, right? Which we call as a data ingestion process. We are having the next, which is your reporting, alerting, or your querying, right? So basically from here, what we will be doing after this, right? After all these steps, right? After all these steps, now we are going to perform some actions on our SIM solutions. Like over there, we will be creating a dashboard, right? For a real-time view, right? And that particular real-time view is going to give us all these alerts, reports, and all of them like your querying, archiving, and all, right? So this is what your SOC, right? And bit introduction about your SIM. Okay. So after this, what we are having? We are having your need of SOC in the organization, right? We are having your need of SOC in the organization. So when we are talking about the need of SOC, right? So your SOC, it will be helping us to identify the potential threats like in the organization, right? Like in the organization, we are not having just like one, two, three, or four devices, right? So over there, we are having multiple devices, right? And what we do over there is like we will be having single point from where we will be managing all those multiple devices, right? We will be managing all those multiple devices from a single location, from a single point. That is what your SOC is. Then, like your SOC, it will be helping from your user abuse, right? It will be also helping from your user abuse, right? So, in the organization, right? Like we are having our official laptops in the organizations, we are having our official laptops. So over there, if you will be putting like many times it happens like we will be forgetting our username and the passwords, right? So over there, let's say you are trying to log in your laptop, but over there, what is happening? You just forgot, or you are just putting a wrong password over there, right? So after that, what will happen? You will be receiving a mail over there, right? You will be receiving a mail, right? And over there, it will be written like we have received many wrong attempts, right? We have received many wrong login attempts from your system, right? So that particular mail, it has been sent by the SOC team, right? Or let's say, let's say uh, we are traveling, right? Like we are traveling from one place to another, right? And over there, you're trying to log in with some different geolocation. Okay. So let's take an example for this. Let's say over here, like ideally, I am supposed to log in from this site, right? From this place, which is Delhi, right? Because I'm having the office in the Delhi, right? So after this, I will be traveling all the way to Rajasthan. Okay. So now if I will be logging in from this new location, right? So over there, what is going to happen? Like it is going to show that my geolocation or login attempt has been originated from this new location from Rajasthan. So this is what this is also alarming for our SOC, right? This is also very alarming for SOC. So now after this, what will happen, right? The peoples from the SOC, right? They will be mailing me, right, about this particular incident, right? And what will happen over there? Like they will be mailing me and they will be asking me about this, and depending upon that, it will be marking as your false positive, depending upon my explanation on that particular thing, right? They will be marking it as false positive, right? So this is how people from the SOC they can manage the user abuse. Like as I was saying that in the SOC we will be having logs from different data types from data sources, right? And we will be bringing them in a one single place, right? So since we are bringing all the logs from different location to a one single place, right? So now it is going to help us in responding the threat, right? It will be helping us in responding the cyber threat lot faster, right? So what will happen, like previously what used to happen is like the firewall teams, right? Now, what the firewall teams will be doing, the firewall teams will be receiving, right? And they will be reviewing the firewall logs. Then we will be having a web server team, right? They will be reviewing their logs. Then we will be having some other teams also. They will be also reviewing their logs like for the switch, for the router, right? So it was becoming bit difficult to manage or review all the logs and correlate in same time, right? But now all these things, right? All these things, these are being monitored in a single place, right? Because all these logs, they are being brought up to a single place. So it will be helping in responding the cyber threat lot faster, right? And it is also going to reduce the security vulnerabilities, right? Along with that, it will be also minimizing the business loss, and it will be also helping us to have a proper effective incident detection and handling place, right? So these are the need, you can say, right? So this is why we need this SOC in our organization. After this, we are having your roles of SOC. Okay, we are having your rules of SOC. So over here, what we will be doing, we will be starting from your L1 SOC analyst. L1 SOC analyst, right? So L1 analyst are the first line of defense we are having, right? These are the first line of defense we are having. What they will be doing, like they will be doing what? They will be creating a alert, right? Your L1 analyst, they are responsible for generating a ticket, for generating a ticket over there, right? And let's say if that particular incident, if that particular alert, it requires some further investigation, right? So what it will be doing later on, they will be escalating it to the L2 analyst, right? So now these L2 analysts, what they will be doing once they have received the report from the L1s, right, about the escalated incident, Now what they will be doing, they will be conducting in-depth analysis, right? And they will be collaborating with your L1 to gather additional information and provide guidance for the incident resolution, right? After this, we are having our incident responder, right? After this, we are having our incident responder. Now, your incident responder will be doing what? They will be working very closely with both our L1 and our L2 analyst over here, right? So whenever an incident has been identified, these incident responder will be doing what? They will be collaborating with analysts to gather the information to understand the incident's impact, and they will be determining the appropriate response actions, right? So basically our incident responder, they will be relying on the analysis and in the findings of our L1 and our L2 analyst to prioritize and to respond to that particular incident effectively, right? And after this, we are also having something known as your SME, your subject matter experts, right? So basically our SME, what they will be doing, they will be providing technical expertise, right? Along with that, they will be providing us guidance, right, to the analyst and our incident responders, right? And they will be doing what? They will be collaborating with the teams to share the knowledge, right? To address the complex issues, right? And along with that, to ensure the correct application of security practices, right? So basically our SMEs, right, they will be assisting in developing and your updating the incident response strategies, your playbooks and the procedures, right? They will be working very closely with our analysts and our incident responders to enhance the efficiency and the effectiveness of the response process, right? So these are some peoples we are having in our SOCs. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting like the blue teams, they protects from the attacks. Right, previously I have received the message. Red team do the testing on the regular basis. Blue team defends. Okay, red team attack. Great. So guys, when we are talking about your blue teams, right? Blue teams are known as the defenders, right? Blue teams are the defenders. Then we are having your red team, right? These are known as your attackers, the breakers, right? Our pen testers, they will be coming as a red teamers, right? Then we are having your purple team also, right? So basically we call it like your red teamers plus blue teamers are known as your the purple teamers, right? So basically whenever we are having your assessments, right? So at the time of that assessments, we will be having a briefing and we will be having our red teamers and the blue teamers, right? They will be coming together, they will be sitting together, and over there we will be calling them as a purple team, right? So these are some of the teams we are having. Okay. Now coming back to the topic, right? So this is the work of our L1 and the L2 and the IR and the SME, right? We have started from the first one, which was L1. right? Which are also known as our level one analyst, right? So our level one analyst will be doing what? They will be having a crucial role in our SOC, right? What they will be doing, they will be monitoring and they will be performing the analysis of the security events and the alerts. Great. So after this, we are also having your compliance auditor, right? So basically your compliance auditor, it will be also playing a very crucial role, right? And your assessing and your ensuring an organization's compliance and laws, the regulations and the standards along with the internal policies which we are having in our organization, right? So the primary responsibility of our compliance auditor, right, is to evaluate the organization's compliance requirements, right, and to identify any areas of non-compliance, right? That is the work of your compliance auditor, right? Then we are having your SOC manager also. Okay, let me do one thing. We were having your L1 analyst, your L2, your IR, and our SME. Okay, now they will be falling under a SOC manager, right? They will be falling under the SOC manager. Our SOC manager, it is responsible, or our SOC manager, he is responsible for overseeing and managing all the operations we are having inside our SOC, inside our Security Operations Center, right? So he will be playing a very critical role, right? He will be ensuring the effectiveness of the SOC, right? Our security operation and detecting, responding, or to your mitigating the security incidents, right? So what your SOC manager will be doing, right? What your SOC manager will be doing is like we are having some roles and responsibilities for our SOC manager, like your strategy and planning, right? Your team management, your incident response, right? Your security tool management, right? Your process deployment, right? Then your monitoring and reporting, right? After it, we are having your continuous improvement, your budget and resource management, right? Your compliance and regulatory requirement. Okay, so these are some of the responsibilities we are having for a SOC manager. Okay, so starting with the first one, which is your strategy and planning. So over here, our SOC manager, he will be doing what? He will be developing, right? And he will be implementing the strategic direction, right? For our SOC. right, which is based inside our organization, right? So what he's doing over here, he will be creating and he will be implementing strategic directions for the SOC, right? For the SOC, what we are having inside our organization, right? Based upon our organization's security goals and the objective, right? So over there, what he will be doing, he will be defining, he will be uh, the scope, the vision, and along with that, some long-term plans, right, for the SOC, right? Along with that, he will be also considering the emerging threats and the technologies, right? After this, our SOC manager, he also leads and he also manages the SOC teams, right? Which will be including our analyst, our incident responder, and other security professionals, right? So they are responsible for your hiring, training, and mentoring the new team members, right? Along with that, he will be also ensuring the right skills and the resources are in the places to support our operations in the SOC, right? Then your IR, right? Our manager, what he will be doing, he will be overseeing the incident response process, right? He will be ensuring the incidents are identified, they are being analyzed, and they are being responded into a timely and the effective manner, right? After this, we will be having our security tool management, right? So our manager, our SOC manager, is also responsible for managing the security tools and the technologies which are being used in the SOC, right? Which will be including your evaluation, your implementation, and maintaining the appropriate security monitoring and the detection systems like SIM, right? And your threat intel platforms. Then we are having your process development and improvement, right? So our SOC manager, he will be developing and he will be enhancing the operational process, right? And the workflow to optimize the efficiency of the SOC, right? After this, we are having your monitoring and reporting, right? So our SOC manager, he will be monitoring and he will be tracking the performance of our SOC teams and their operations, right? After this, we are having your collaboration and your communication, right? After this, we are having your collaboration and the communication. So our SOC manager, what he will be doing, right? Our SOC manager, what he will be doing is, okay. So our SOC manager, he will be collaborating with the other teams, right? Like we are having your stakeholders, sorry, like we are having your stakeholders, we are having your network operations, like uh, and your management, right? To ensure the effective communication, right? Along with the coordination with the security related matters, right? Then we are having your continuous improvement. So over here, our SOC manager, right? He will be fostering a culture, right? He will be fostering a culture for the continuous improvement within our SOC, right? He will be encouraging the learning. He will be encouraging the personal development, right? And he will be uh, sharing the knowledge among the team members, right? He will be sharing the experience among the team members, right? So they will be staying up to date with the latest trends, with the latest technology, with the latest cyber threats, right? After this, we are having your budget and your resource management. So our SOC managers, they are responsible for the budget planning and the resource allocation for the SOC, right? They will be ensuring the adequate staffing, training, and the infrastructure to support its operations, right? After this, in the last, we are having your compliance and the regulatory requirement. So over here, our SOC manager, he will be ensuring the SOC operates in your compliance with applicable laws, regulations, and the industry standards, right? So our managers, they stay informed about the evolving regulatories, right? And they will be working with the compliance team to address any compliance gap or audit findings, right? So these are some of the responsibilities we are having for our SOC manager. Great. So guys, when we are talking about your threat hunters, right? Threat hunters means like a person, right? What he will be doing? He will be searching or he will be identifying the potential security threats which we are having in our organization network or a system, right? This is the work of your threat hunters, right? So over there, what he will be doing, he will be utilizing various techniques and the tools, right, to discover or to uncover the IOCs, right, your indicators of your compromise, right, and all the suspicious activities, right, which have evaded the traditional security defenses. So this is the work, it is the work of our threat hunter. After this, we are having your functions of SOC. Over here, like you can say, the cybersecurity incidents, like they can usually identified and they can be responded by the SOC staff, right, who are possessing a necessary skills. So over here, the team members, they will be also collaborating with the other departments or the with other teams, right, to share their information with some relevant stakeholders regarding your latest incidents, right? So over there, our SOC, right, basically it works for your 24/7, right? And over there, our SOC members, they will be working in the shifts, right, to mitigate the threats and to manage the log activities, right? So over here, the main functions of our SOC, it will be including like monitoring and your managing an organization security posture, right? To develop or to implement a security policy and the procedure, right? Providing your security awareness, training to the employees, right? Your responding to the security incident, right? You're analyzing the logs, network traffic, and other data sources to identify the potential threats and the vulnerabilities, right? To perform the vulnerability assessment, to provide threat intelligence report, right? And designing and implementing the security solutions, right? So these are some of the functions we are having in your SOC. Okay. So over here, what we will be doing, right? The log data, right? The data which we have collected from all the network devices like our computers, servers, switches, routers, firewalls, right? So it is going to be stored in a centralized relation, right? It is going to stored in a centralized relational database, right? For your analysis, screening, investigation, and your reporting for any sort of suspicious events, right? So over here, all the collected logs are properly summarized, right? For better visibility of your suspicious events, right? From any sort of your logs, right, which are being generated by thousands of devices, right? So basically, what is happening over here, like we will be receiving a massive amount of event logs, right? We will be receiving massive amounts of event logs. Like as I was saying that in the organization, we are not using just one, two, or three computers, right? Over there, we will be using multiple devices, right? So in just mere seconds, right, over there, we will be receiving massive amount of event logs, right? So in those event logs, what we will be doing what? We will be looking for the suspicious events, right? Then after this, we are having your correlation also over here. And the real-time monitoring, we are having your correlation also. So in this phase, what we are going to do, right? Like over here, like in a simple way, you can say it will be combining two or more event logs, right? So over here, two or more event logs are being combined to learn the intelligence, right, of occurred suspicious event, right? And it can help us to understand about the whole incident scenario, right? So over here, like what we can do, we can follow a technique to narrow down the scope for our detecting the suspicious event logs, right? Over here, what we can do, we can follow some steps, right? So, and the first we are having a normalization, right? We are having your categorization, right? We are having your prioritization, right? And in the last, we are having your coordinated response and your remediation, right? So these are some of the steps what we can do to narrow down the scope for our for detecting the suspicious event logs, right? So your normalization will be doing what? It will be helping us to eliminate the redundant event logs, right? Which have been collected from thousands of devices, right? Then we are having your categorization, right? So over here, your categorization, it will be classifying the event logs, right? Systematically to make it easier to understand, and it will be also correlating between two or more event logs. Then we are having your prioritization, right? So once the suspicious logs, right? Once the suspicious event logs they have been identifying, right? What we will be doing, we will be prioritizing them for the response, right? And in the last, we are having your coordinated response and remediation. So over here in this phase, what we will be doing, like all the detected suspicious event, right? All the detected suspicious logs, they are going to get filtered down to eliminate the false positive, right? And to remediate the real incidents before it will be leading to a big damage, right? So these are the techniques what we can use to narrow down the scope for detecting the suspicious event logs. Okay. After this, we are having your reporting, right? So reporting is what like it is a brief description, right, of our finding and whatever action we have taken during the incident, right? And on that particular report, we will be also writing the details about the strategies, tools, and techniques and tactics, right? And all the people who were involved at that particular operation, right? And later on, these reports they are being shared with our clients or with our team as a proof of vulnerabilities or compromise, right? And there, what we will be doing, we will be taking their feedback, right? Like we all will be sitting together, like all the team members, they will be all be sitting together, and over there we will be taking their feedback, right? That to ensure that this incident is fixed completely, right? So that is what your reporting is, right? So after reporting, what we are having? We are having your after action analysis, right? So over here, what we can do, we can break this after action analysis in two parts, and the forensics, okay, and in the investigation. So in the forensic part, right, like all the collected data, right, as an evidence, it is going to get analyzed, right, in greater depth to learn more about the sensitive information about the incident, right? And later on, it will be helping us to prevent such incident from occurring the next time, right? And the investigation phase, right, over here, right? So basically, your investigation it is conducted like if the incident was too damaging, it was too severe, right? Then only this investigation is conducted, right? So it will be uh, allowing your law enforcement agency also, right, to trace back the attacker's location and take the legal actions against him, right? So these are some of the major functions of SOC, right? So starting with the first one, which is our security onion, right? So it's again a open source tool, right? Your so your security onion is what? It's a open source tool, right, for monitoring the IDS platforms, right? It will be helping us to monitor the IDS platforms. So what it will be doing, like your security onion, right? Your security onion, it has been integrated with many tools, right? Your security onion, okay. Your security onion, it has been integrated with various security tools, like we are having your IDS IPS, right? We are having your for the log management also, right? We are also having your analysis tools, right? Along with that, it will be also providing us a comprehensive network security monitoring capabilities, right? So your security onion is a open source network tool, right, which will be helping us to monitor, and it will be also giving us like capabilities for monitoring the IDS platforms also, right? Then we are having your Splunk. So guys, Splunk is a very, very powerful tool, right? Your Splunk, it's a very, very powerful tool, right? So basically, with the help of Splunk, what we can do, right? Like basically your Splunk is a log management platform, right? So basically it will be doing what? It will be collecting, it will be analyzing, right? And it will be visualizing the data from various sources, right? Like including your security logs, right? And later on your Splunk, right? Your Splunk, it will be doing what? It will be allowing the security teams to monitor and to correlate the security events in the real time, right? To detect the anomalies, to investigate the incident, right? So guys, your Splunk, it is widely used for your SIM solutions, right? Your Splunk, it is widely used for your SIM solutions. Then we are having your FTK manager, right? Your forensic toolkit. So it is a digital forensic toolkit, right? Used for analyzing and investigating the digital evidence, right? And over there, it will be just providing us the capabilities of your data acquisition, your data imaging, your file system analysis, right? And your data recovery, right? So basically, your FTK measure, right? Your FTK measure, it is commonly used for the used by the investigators, your forensic investigator, to conduct the examination of our digital devices. Then we are having your autopsy, right? So your autopsy is also a open source tool or a digital forensic platform, right? So your autopsy, it is being used for analyzing and investigating the digital evidence, right? It will be providing us a GUI, the graphical user interface, which will be simplifying the process of examining the file system, for extracting the artifacts, for performing the keyword searches, or even for generating the report also, right? So autopsy is one of the tool which is widely used by the forensic examiners for your digital investigations, right? After this, we are having your network miner, right? So your network miner is a network forensic analysis tool, right? Which will be doing what? It will be capturing and it will be analyzing the network traffic to extract the valuable information, right? Along with that, it can also reconstruct the files, right? To extract the metadata from the network packets, and it is also being used for identifying the network hosts and the services, right? Or to analyze the captured data from the potential security threats, right? Then we are having your Wireshark. Now, Wireshark is what? It is a sniffer, right? So, Wireshark is a very, very popular and the powerful network protocol analyzer tool, right? So, we can use this Wireshark for the troubleshooting, for the analysis, and the security monitoring, right? So, later on, we will be also using this Wireshark, right? Then, after this Wireshark, we are having your MITRE ATT&CK framework, right? We are having this MITRE ATT&CK framework. So your MITRE ATT&CK framework, like it is describing the various TTPs, your tactics, techniques, and the procedures which are used by the adversaries during the cyber attacks, right? So over there you will be seeing the APTs. Okay, we are having this MITRE ATT&CK framework over here. So as I was saying that we are having your groups, right? So inside the groups, we are having your APTs. So if you will be opening any of them, right? So from them, you will be getting the information about them. See over here, it is saying that APT1 is what? It is a Chinese threat group that has been attributed to this, right? And depending upon this information, we can also see like the techniques which are being used by this APT group, right? The softwares, right? So we are having this MITRE attack framework, right? So it is one of the most important tools we are having in our threat intel guys, right, in their arsenals. So this is what your MITRE attack framework. So basically your Maltego is what like it's a very powerful and the popular open source intelligence tool, your OSINT, right? So it will be doing what? It will be helping us to gather the information, right? And it will be also helping us to analyze the information to uncover the relationships and the patterns between the entities, right? So your Maltego, it is widely used in various domains, like in our cyber security, in our law enforcement, in our intelligence agencies, right? Our threat intelligence teams, right? So your Maltego, it will be helping the investigators and the analysts to conduct the digital footprints, right? And conducting the digital footprinting, your threat hunting, your social network analysis, your fraud investigation, and your information gathering activities, right? So by using this Maltego, the analyst, the investigators, they can gain valuable insights, right? And they can identify the potential risk and they can make informed decisions based on the relationships and the patterns they have discovered throughout the tools analysis and the visualization feature, right? So this is what our Maltego is.